How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zan over here with a brand new One Piece discussion. And for today's segment, we're going to be talking about Chapter 831, An Adventure in a Mysterious Forest. And this chapter, folks, is hilarious. The pure content of itself is Oda's still own sense of humor throughout the whole entire chapter, folks. Yes, and the reason that I'm kind of bringing up that this whole content was just humor because the fact that there was a sense of disorganization throughout the whole entire chapter. Only I would say the first couple pages there was organization, and then from there on it just went and became very disorganized in terms of what the team was heading towards when they entered Big Mom's territory. And that's what kind of trips me out, because the fact that usually main characters have one goal in mind and they have one set path and that's it, and they follow it through. But since they entered Big Mom's island, from what I've seen, Oda is kind of digressing away from the main point because of the fact that they're just using it as comic relief. Because I'm assuming Oda is doing this also because of the fact that since it's been so serious between the last couple chapters, so much flashbacks, so much information that's been bombarding on us, Oda's probably thinking, you know what? Let me bombard them with some comic relief. So that way then they could be anticipated for the next chapter. Say, oh, maybe the next one we're gonna see what really is going on, and then it'll lead on to some foreshadowing events, and maybe a little bit of more, as you can say, more story progression as well. But nonetheless, I did enjoy the chapter. It was fairly slow in terms of progression, but that's because of, like I said, it was just mostly humor involved in it. Now, the one thing that they kind of did kickstart is, yes, folks, Pedro and Brooke, they're actually separated from the main group. In the chapter, they kind of, I would say, just talked a little bit about how Pedro actually took Brooke and said, you know what, we're going to be infiltrating Big Mom's territory, but we're going to be going from underneath. Instead of heading straight underneath, they actually went underneath the waters. They're probably going to resurface probably another part of the island, which I thought was hilarious, the fact, because they're really quick characters. They're necessarily both stealth type people, and I'm wondering, why do they have to go underwater? But I'm assuming it's probably because they don't want to be too spotted. But it's also a good way as well to see as where they're gonna come out as well, and which I'm assuming in later chapters it's gonna be used as another comic relief instance where they'll probably end up next to another major villain and say, oh, I can't believe you're here. Then one of them gets captured or something along the line of that. Maybe that's what Oda's trying to do. Like I said, Big Mom's territory seems more like I said, a comic relief place. And it also is embodying the Alice in Wonderland theme, folks. The reason I asked this is because the minute that Luffy entered the place, he noticed Sanji. And yes, which kind of leads characters as to wonder, oh, you'll be amazed the fact that you finally get to see Sanji meeting up with the crew. But no, throughout the whole entire chapter, it's I would say an apparition or some kind of ghost or something along, or some kind of doll. We're not too sure what exactly it is, but throughout the whole entire time, Luffy, Chopper, Nami, and Carrot were misguided by this Sanji apparition that was going throughout the whole entire island. And I was actually kind of noticing it to them. I don't even think it's Sanji at the same time. I think it's someone behind the scenes, because of the fact that Sanji's not even speaking throughout the whole entire chapter. No, folks, he's actually just noticing, and he keeps running away. It's not something necessarily that Sanji actually does. He's not the type that would hit and run. And it's something that Nami also pointed out in the chapter 2. She also says that Sanji is the type to keep things under himself. He kind of says everything to his crew members. There's nothing really more mysterious about him. Maybe he might be like you said, and Nami pointed out in the chapter that maybe Sanji is probably ashamed to actually say it. More so the fact that it's not that he wants to keep it away, but it's more so like he's ashamed of maybe his family heritage, and he doesn't want Luffy maybe to discourage him from it too. But we don't know what's going on. But this chapter did involve a lot of kind of little small hints. In the chapter, we also get involved with part of Big Mom's main strong force, and it's the bunny riding the flamenco. And I personally love that character. I don't care what no one says. It reminds me like a musketeer, I swear, like a little western musketeer. I swear, it's so hilarious. When it was riding around, it was chopping the trees. It was majestic in its way. And it also, I think that's the white rabbit that is supposed to symbolize in the Alice in Wonderland story that Oda's trying to embody in this. And I love the fact that he's not talking, but now we know it's a bunny. I thought it was a mouse back then when we saw it like about 4 or 5 chapters before, or was it like 3? More so or less around that time. I thought it was a what's it called? I'm sorry, a cat. The reason I say it was a cat because the fact that the little whiskers that it had, but I didn't notice that it had the bunny ears. But now I know it. Now it's a bunny, and I'm kind of anticipating for its strength. And also, look how strong this character was. He chopped down like 3 or 5 trees in one swing. He was trying to hit Nami, but now we can see that Carrot is also a pretty strong opponent too, as she sensed the white. I'm gonna call it the white rabbit because, like I said, it just reminds you of the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. The white rabbit came in and just out of nowhere, Carrot kind of noticed it and said, "Oh, watch out, Nami." And I'm kind of thinking like, "Holy snap!" You know, I personally now, after reading this chapter, am now amused at the fact that no, guys, Carrot is not the spy, or maybe not. I could be wrong, but more so or less, Carrot is not the spy. And the reason I ask this is because she saved Nami, and she doesn't even know who that rabbit was. You know, just look at her dialogue. She said, "Who's that rabbit? Who is that guy?" Like it just says a lot. If Carrot knew who that person was, her dialogue would have been a little bit different. It would have been like, oh, you know, like it would have been something very entirely, I would say, not anticlimactic as how the chapter was kind of going with. And I love the fact that the way that Chopper was kind of throughout the whole entire chapter was more of a comic relief. He wasn't that as necessarily serious, but there's a lot of foreshadowing in this chapter too, and that's because of the fact that Luffy, he seems to be kitty down again in this chapter, and I kind of didn't like the fact that because of the fact that he is inside this whole entire Big Mom's territory and he can't even get his mind straight. He's being very easily distracted. So is Chopper, so is Carrot. The only one that so far is really being very careful is Nami, but she is slowly succumbing to Luffy's goofiness because Luffy is literally just wandering around in the forest and not just following his own gut, you could say. And I'm hoping Nami still stays in character. I'm hoping, guys. Please, Nami, stay sane in this. Because the fact that this forest is also overwhelming, too, at the same time. At the end of the chapter, we get to see that the forest itself is alive. The whole entire forest. And now we get to know that the forest itself is also playing games. And at the end of the chapter, you kind of notice that, wow, they're actually singing about playing a life or death game. And that's what kind of the Big Mom's pirates and like all this whole entire arc is kind of embodying. It's playing games between life or death. And this seducing forest is just playing a game on these people. And that's what it literally was. That Luffy's crew couldn't really, I would say, their mentality is not being handled well in this forest. Because the fact they're so easily distracted by the forest is little tricks and little hints that they're kind of throwing at them. Now, I, for one, think that with the Sanji operation I'm talking back at the Sanji operation because of the fact that it reminds me of this chair shit cat in Alice in Wonderland, the way that it disappears and it's not talking and it comes back whenever it wants to and it's leading away from a trap. Yes, folks, that's what I think. It kind of like it just reminds me of the chair shit cat. So that's why I'm assuming that Sanji is probably from, I would say, I forgot what the name of that character was, but it's the one that had like a paper mask with a smile. That's the character that I probably might think might be using that Sanji doppelganger right there. And the reason I say it's him is because of the fact that this whole entire area is a trap, folks. Yes, it's a trap. Now we know Pudding is evil. Why else would she send him to that place? Why is she not there? Now, at the beginning of the chapter, Luffy did say Pudding was there. But Luffy's eyes could be deceived because, like I said, the seducing forest. Or maybe Pudding got captured. We don't know that for sure. Maybe Pudding did get captured, or maybe she ran away and she's still hiding. But I, for one, am still kind of a little convinced that Pudding is a spy. And she's a traitor against Luffy's crew. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase all that again. She is still in cahoots with Big Mom because of the fact that why else are these guys, playing this little charade inside that forest when they could have easily just waited for Pudding to come out, or at least there would have been a sign that they should have read. Or maybe in the later chapters they might say that. Maybe there might be like, oh, maybe they missed a little hint that said Pudding might have been, oh, don't go here, or it's a trap, or something along the line of that. But like I said, and plus that little white rabbit, he was there. That just says along that Pudding is an evil traitor, and she's trying to get Luffy to fall into Big Mom's territory. I'm telling you, like, all these hints are starting to become very, very strong in this chapter. Yes, there was a lot of comical relief in this whole entire chapter, but you gotta remember, folks, Oda just doesn't put a lot of stuff in there. You have to really be careful when you're reading, and be careful not to bypass very important figures. If you're really following the story, you'll start noticing a lot of things that really are starting to catch up. And yes, folks, this chapter was beautifully amazing. At now that we're kind of getting more straws grasped at the fact that all these characters are now starting to kind of show a little bit more of their schemiest ways. And also the forest itself. I wonder what if the forest is really actually, I should say, why isn't the forest talking when Luffy's characters are there? That's what I was kind of concerned. Are they trying to stay hidden away from Luffy? You know, that just kind of bugs me at the same time, as maybe these apparitions or these ghost things are actually moving from inanimate object to another inanimate object. We don't know that for sure, because remember, none of the faces were shown. And the minute that, remember, the white rabbit kind of sliced through the forest, all of a sudden their faces popped up as if they're trying to sleep or something, which I thought that was pretty kind of interesting at the same fact. Oh, and then again, the white rabbit might have used hockey too at the same time. Maybe that's what probably kind of might have caused him to hurt. Or, I'm sorry, not to hurt, to probably yell. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, folks. But yes, like I said, folks, this chapter was very overwhelming in itself, as there was a lot of dialogue, but over on top of that, it was still interesting, the fact that we get to see a lot of comic relief, not a lot of progression, but I would say just a little bit. And we get to see Nami actually being the only sane one in the whole entire chapter as well. But yes, folks, let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this chapter. What was your favorite scene? What are your expectations of this whole entire arc now that we're getting a little bit more hints? Let me know down in the comments below what are you guys' favorite part too as well. And also, folks, if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe. But this is Mr. Zen, signing out.